We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for Top Gun Sales Bootcamp training. So, this is the deeper we get into this, the more interesting, fascinating, exciting, that it is. And so, mine for today was it seems that the most growth comes from doing things we don't like to do. And maybe that we don't have to do. What do you all think about that?
So how do you balance that
With what?
with things that you like to do?
Oh, right.
So if it's something you don't have to do, why is it important to do?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Is it still important to do if you don't have to do it?
Right. Oh, this is good. This is so awesome.
This is helpful.
This is really helpful. Okay. So Nora, in answer to your question, um, I guess how you balance it depends how much growth you want to have, right? So if you want to have 0% growth, then focus just doing things you enjoy doing. If you want to have 100% growth, then all you do is things you don't like doing. If you want 50% growth, then you go ahead and then you do 50% of what you like to do and 50% of what you don't like to do. Does that make sense, Nora?
Sure.
Oh, does this answer a lot of questions for you, Nora?
I guess not.
Remember the second thing that you said that you appreciated about me? One was intentionality, and the second was if you're on Mark, you have to grow.
Yeah.
Does this explain why that I want 10 of you and Becky? No, not connecting the dots.
I'm just shaking my head.
Shaking it up and down. Nice. Like,
No.
I see what Mark's saying. So Mark's saying that women, they want to do 10% of what they don't like to do and 90% of what they do like to do. And that's why Mark needs 10 of them so he can go ahead and do 100% of what he doesn't like to do so he can grow at 100% rather than at 10%. So Kenny, can you think of anything in life that you don't have to do? That's probably a pretty good thing to do. No, nothing's coming to you.
Go to church.
Get thee behind me, Satan. like, so yeah, that's just funny interaction, I think. Like most normal children do not like to brush their teeth, right? They just don't, especially boys. They just want to, they don't even want to take showers. They don't want to. There's a ton of stuff in life. There's a ton of stuff in life. So curious, we got to get back on track. So one thing, hopefully it won't go beyond this. Like my dad and mom were very frugal, very conservative. They, he's a pastor, so never made much money until, I don't know, the last 10 years of his life. He got paid pretty good, didn't have any debt. Man, they saved up a lot of money. And so they didn't have to work. They had the financial wherewithal where they didn't have to work. And so my dad said, he was, I don't know, 70 years old. I think he was 70 years old. And he says, I'm going to retire from being a pastor. I'm just burned out. And my youngest sister, who's a medical doctor, said, Mom, don't let dad retire, because if he does, he's going to die. And that's what happened. 5 years later, he just died. And so, he didn't have to do things. And I joke, I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm like, I wonder if they weren't, so his older brother, who had a lot more health issues and a lot of other things, his older brother lived, 7, 8, 9 years longer than my dad did. But he had a hard time financially. The older brother had a hard time. So he kind of had to work. He was actually in construction. And so he had to work. So he's mid 80s probably. Like he's still doing construction when he's in his mid 80s. But I wonder, I say, I wonder if my dad wasn't such a good financial, steward. Like he had to work at Walmart, if he'd still be alive today. Alvin Miller, he doesn't have to work. So a lot of people, a lot of his age, he's in his mid 80s. A lot of them, they buy boats and they go ahead, and he's got, a couple homes in Florida, but he doesn't want to go there. He just wants to work. I mean, Warren Buffett's in his 90s. I don't know, he's 500 billion. I don't know what he's got. He's a billionaire. And, he just retired at, I don't know, 95 or something, but he'll still work. So yeah. So I think that growth comes, this morning, it just hit me. I'm like, growth comes from doing things that we don't have to do and we don't enjoy doing. And so, anyways, all right, Nora, what you got?
I had 21% yesterday.
Nice. Like I'm visualizing the PPA and seeing the graph and seeing the patterns and what it is. So how do you feel when you go from 50, I don't know, 50 plus percentage down to 21%?
I don't know, it's like strange because I did get like other stuff accomplished yesterday. So
Right.
but
So on the model, on the next dimension model, there's the 4 levels of coaching. And so you get to decide, what level of coaching, what level of coaching you want to go ahead and have. And you can give it to yourself. You don't need somebody else to do it. I mean, sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's helpful. So, do you want the cheerleader? Do you want the teacher? Do you want the coach? Do you want the Navy SEAL? Which of these do you want, and which of them do you need? So if you go through to a new dimension, if you break through to a new dimension, typically we need the cheerleader. Then the second is the teacher. So this encourages us because, we suck. We just do. And then we go to a new dimension and we don't understand there's new rules in this new dimension. There's new rules. And then the next dimension is going to be the coach, and they'll push you and they'll bench you and they'll raise their voice and laugh. And, so that's the expressive. So this is amiable. This is the teacher. This is the coach. And then the highest level is the Navy SEAL. So my brother Dan was in the Marines for 22 years. And he said that a Navy SEAL was far easier to lead than an enlisted person, because the Navy SEAL is all in. They want to get the crap beat out of them. I mean, they just want to be they're the best of the best. And they know, you know, like it's interesting in pickleball, like I'll lose 1 or 2 games out of 10 or 12 games. And people say, how'd you do? And it's like, it sucked. Like, okay, yeah. Yeah, I sucked. I lost 1 game or 2 games today. And they like, really, Mark? That's so good. I don't need a cheerleader. No, you suck. Like, why do you like? And then I go ahead and said to Gina, I said, every game I've lost in pickleball is because of me. Every game. If I'd have made 1, 2, 3 shots. So in a lot of games, if my partner is pretty good, if my partner is pretty good or average, we're going to win. We just will. But if they're not, there's less room for me to make mistakes. And so this is where you look at yourself and you push yourself. There's some top athlete in, I think it's football, and he said he didn't want somebody giving him praise. Like, he doesn't want accolades. He doesn't want to, he says he thinks it makes him weak. And I can see that too, for sure. So, I mean, the Top Gun is when you're, it's like Navy SEALs. So the harder you are, the key in this is you never let it get to your self-worth. How do you do that, Mark? For me, it's my spiritual belief system. So Christian, so I'm Christian. I was raised Christian. A lot of Christians don't like me, especially pastors. But why? Because I'm kind of a Navy SEAL. Like, I want a hellfire and brimstone, I want a hellfire and brimstone, sermon. Like, I want to go ahead and walk out of there and saying, I am just pathetic. I am just a pathetic Christian. I am just, man, am I a loser. Oh, so, you can pass this. Well, Nora and Kenny, you guys are in the Life GPS. So you guys could share this podcast. You could share this podcast with Elaine and then encourage other people, and say, what, if you were in this podcast, this is the kind of stuff you would get. Like, so what's better? Oh, I don't know that there's any better. I mean, Paul, probably a Navy SEAL. So I don't know, like, whatever. And so in sales, the higher the goal that you have, probably the more Navy SEALs you're going to need. So it's pretty fascinating stuff. It's pretty fascinating stuff. Anything else, Nora, you got?
You had said to bring Orland up.
Is that the fry pie guy?
I don't know. No, that's Marlon. Not unless you meant Marlon.
Yeah, I don't know. Marlon's the one. So he went ahead and called yesterday, and he went ahead and said, he called yesterday and he said, yeah, I think I've decided, not to. He missed an appointment with us and he was very apologetic. Sorry, he dropped the ball, blah, blah, blah. And then he went ahead and said, yeah, I'm going to pass this at this time. And we'll see. But, I had a strategy. I already anticipated that he would. And I knew exactly what I was going to do. It was a high risk strategy. It's like in Ford versus Ferrari. Becky, have you seen Ford versus Ferrari? So if you haven't, you need to watch that one, because it's just like in that where he says, well, is it going to work? And he's like, I don't know. It's high risk. So he put his whole company at risk for Ken Miles, so it's like, so high risk, high return, low risk, low return. And so what I did is I had a high risk strategy that I was going to use. And so it got into personal things, into marriage, into past. And so I used it and it worked at least to get another appointment. I think he'll probably go on. So when you look at this strategy, like I anticipated what was going to happen. I did the driver move. So this stuff here, you become reflexes. Like you got to get your reflexes. It's like playing pickleball. I mean, it really is. It's reflexes. It's just like that's what it is. And so I looked into the future and I said, so an amiable is going to look into the present, and expressive is going to look amiable, short term, expressive, present, analytic, past. The driver is going to see into the future. The amiable and expressive just want to believe the sale is going to happen. The analytic knows it's going to happen. Driver's like, yeah, no, probably won't happen. Okay. So are they being negative? No, they're just being realistic. Okay. So it's not going to happen unless I do something different. So I had a strategy. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I did exactly what I thought and turned the guy around for his benefit. And that's based on the business x-ray because I could see there's one number, boom. How would you rate your marriage? What would you like it to be? How would your wife rate the marriage, and how would you like it? How would she like it to be? So based on that one thing, as soon as I saw that one thing, I knew. I'm like, okay, this is, but it's high risk. So the driver's willing to take high risk. The other personalities, the expressive tends to, they're more high risk. So the ones that are more assertive tend to be more high risk. The ones that are less assertive, but you need to assess the risk and determine, what should you take and what shouldn't you take. This is why, like every day, you can't miss one of these. You start from the beginning, and every single day you take notes. It's a half an hour mostly. And so it's a half an hour and you take notes and you internalize this, like you write it down because you're going to need it in the future. So most salespeople, when they lose, I was telling Nora in the Action Vision coaching, first thing you do is if, let's say the average sales closing ratio is 1 out of 10. So that's what it is. So you can double somebody's sales just as easy by just helping them write down every lead you get. If you write down every lead you get, you can double your sales because you don't need more leads. What you need is you need to convert more of the leads. But salespeople, they tend to be lazy. They tend to be the best salespeople are really super smart and they're super lazy. That's the advantage I had over, other salespeople. I wasn't smart. I wasn't naturally good at sales. I had to learn the science of sales. So now it's very intentional. So I can flip into different gears, like which gear is going to be the best gear to go into, or I can do a combination of things. The natural salesperson is often going to be the worst sales manager because they're naturally good at something. So there's 4 levels of learning. Unconscious incompetence, we're stupid and don't know it. Conscious incompetence, we're stupid and we know it. That's when we can learn. Conscious competence, that's when we're good at something and we know why we're good at it. Unconscious competence is when we're really good at something and we don't even know it. That's the best place to be for personal productivity. But it's not a good place at all to be if you're training, mentoring somebody else, or you're building systems. Because of the warm belly rub. Pretty sure we shared that one in the past. So these things, you need to pay attention to what's being said, the stories. If there's a story that's being shared, you need to go ahead and internalize that story because that story is an important story. Especially with somebody like me who doesn't like to tell stories because it takes so long. Anything else, Nora, you have?
No.
So if you go ahead and say the reason I lost that sale is because I'm a pathetic salesperson, for me, That just invigorates me. That just says, no, I'm not going to be I don't want to be a pathetic, stupid, like a sloppy, lazy, undisciplined, pathetic, and stupid. SLUPS, slups. Like you're a slups. You're sloppy, lazy, undisciplined, pathetic, stupid. Okay. Well, let's change that, Mark. And so a lot of people, they just want to feel good. And it's like, yeah, you're going to make a lot more money, I think. Yeah, I think you're going to make a lot more money if you're hard on yourself, hard on other people. And you're not going to get defensive or angry if you're harder on yourself than, somebody else. Like if you're harder on yourself than anybody else could be, you're like, yeah. Like when I first became a sales manager, and so I'm managing Salesforce, building the Salesforce, doing selling, and I'm a producing manager. And the president company comes to me and he says, "Hey, Mark, yeah, sales aren't." And it's like 3 months after I was promoted into that role, and he's like, "Mark, we're going to need to lay off processors. These are the ones." So I'm out selling, and my teamers out selling, but the processors, are, they're doing the work. They're processing the mortgage file. They're the support team. And he says, "We're going to have to lay off a processor because sales aren't there." I'm like, "Yeah, that's not going to happen." He's like, "Well, we really have to do that." I said, "Not under my watch." I said, cut my income." They cut my, I mean, I have a wife, and a daughter, and she's pregnant probably with our second child then. And I can't afford to go ahead and take a cut. He's like, "You haven't been in the position long enough, Mark, to go. It's not your fault." I'm like, "It absolutely is my responsibility." I mean, that's just what good leaders do. It's just what men do. And most of the salespeople, well, at that time, that time most of the salespeople were men, and and all the processors, all the internal staff was women. It's like, yeah, no, on my watch, I mean, I'll figure it out. And then I put additional pressure on me. Like this is just what you do. Well, it's not your fault. No, it is. It's my responsibility. Becky, what you got?
20%.
Okay, nice. Anything else you want to cover?
No.
Okay. Kenny, what you got?
So how do you determine if or when to just connect two people together, or connect two people together in order to and try to make money off of them?
It's fuzzy logic. It's fuzzy logic. You use the left side of your brain and your right side of your brain together, and you come up with it. So your instincts, first thing you do is come up with instincts. What should you do? No analysis, just gut feel. So in this situation, what's your instincts?
Just connect them.
Okay, good. So that's your instincts. Then you go into your analytics, and you go into the linear process, and you say, what should I do in that? So you think through it, maybe pros and cons of both. And what would my instincts be on that situation?
On the analytic part?
No, okay, so your instincts is, make the introduction. What's my instincts going to be?
I don't know.
Anybody know?
Make money.
Okay.
Is there a way you could do both?
Not easy to do. Not impossible, but likely not. I mean, all things are possible. So yes, but probably. But I love the thought process, right? I mean, that's a good thought process, but it'd be hard. Well, make the money, Luke. If there's the 30 value inventory and the number one was spirituality, to me, number 5 was, or the last one was money. So it's make the money, but why, Luke?
Not sure.
Anybody know? Is it about the money with me?
No.
No, it's not. So why? You're right. You're absolutely right. I would go ahead and make money from it. So why?
You would help them and then you would make money during the process of helping them.
No, I would set up a system. I would set up a system where I was connecting the two and I'd figure out how to make money doing it. Why? Because it fits into Dreamscape's, goal. Like you're really an employment agency in a way. So you find people that may be right next door. They may go to church together, maybe in the same district. So isn't that a lot more work? Yeah, that is a lot more work. Yipper, it is. But I know that's what happens, and so I'm going to figure out how to do it. I'm going to figure out. I'm going to do the work, and it's going to require more work, and it probably won't work, but I'm still going to do it to gain the experience. I'm going to grow, to learn, to say, hey, I'm going to try to figure out how to make money doing this. Because if I can do that, it's in Bern. It's, I don't know, a couple hours away. So if I can do it a couple hours away, can I do it all around the country?
Yes.
So it fits into my, 2.5 million goal. Like it's a very critical capability of what we have. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm going to do that. Question on that, Kenny?
No, that makes sense.
So which one should you do? I don't know. But see, the thing is you now have options. Before you didn't. Before you just had your instincts. And your instincts is to go ahead and, just make the introduction. So which one's better? Don't know. I mean, if you go ahead and if you don't go ahead and do it and just do it, maybe there'll be some other benefit. So maybe you're doing it because you're a kind person. You're just a kind, generous person. What's another motivation that why we would do it? Really? None of you know that? Because we're lazy.
Don't want to do the work.
Yeah, we don't want to do the work. So we don't want to do the work, and so we're lazy. We think we're just such nice people. We connect to people. We don't make any money. We're just doing it because we're just nice people. Maybe you are. Maybe that could be true. Or maybe just because you're lazy. Like, maybe I'm doing it because I'm a masochist. I don't really want to do it. I know how much work it's going to take. I know there's a high statistical probability it's going to fail. I'm just a masochist, like my international speaking coach said. That's a possibility. I just like pain. She's like, Mark, you just like pain. Okay. Right? A lot of truth to that. Anything else, Kenny, you got?
No.
Luke, what you got?
So yesterday I did way more than 100%. I'm talking with a lot of people. I don't even know how many people I talked to yesterday because of the job that we're doing. What?
Did you do box 3?
I did not know.
So most of that work probably is not going to go ahead and give you much yield. It's not going to be much benefit. So do you know why you did, why you went ahead and did, so much yesterday?
Because I'm working at a place where there's a lot of business owners there.
Does
Like
anybody know why? Does anybody know why Luke got over 100% yesterday? Because he's an expressive. He's like Lincoln. So he gets energy he gets excited just when there's a lot of people. So he's an expressive, and so there's a lot of people. So he's going to get 100%, but he'll probably make very little money because tracking 100% of lead, what is that skill set? more analytic. It's not fun. I just
Mhm.
I want to get to the next person. Did you get their business cards?
Some of them, yes.
So the ones that you didn't get, those are the ones that you'd have made the most money on probably.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll never get a bill for it. That's why this is the only box. This is the only box of the 30 boxes that says 100%. None of the other boxes say 100%. This is the only box that says 100%. And you have control over that. It's not tracked 99% because that one lead that you didn't track could have likely often is the one that produces more than the other 99 leads. And what really sucks about it is you never get a bill for tracking. You never get a bill for the lead that you didn't track.
Mm-hmm.
So you discipline your expressive. You just absolutely discipline your expressive, and you just force the expressive to go ahead and you shift gears. I got to get that lead. I got to get their contact information.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions?
Not on that.
Anything else?
You did mention something about or this morning we were talking about if Dreamscape does something versus I myself do something.
So you said that if you did the work yourself, if Dreamscape did the work, it would cost more.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of indicating that your time is not worth as much. Your own personal time is not worth as much as what Dreamscape's time is worth. You follow?
Yes.
And is that true?
Probably depends
Right. And what does it depend on?
how I'm using my personal time.
What governs that?
Me.
And what governs you? Anybody. What governs Luke? It's how he thinks. It's how Luke thinks. So Dave Libby, genius, he said that he thinks, people what they should do in life is 20 hours a week of your working 20 hours. You should work 20 hours a week and that pays the bills. 20 hours a week you should use in networking, connecting, being involved in the community, helping people, being out, socializing, connecting with people. 20 hours a week should be reaching people. It's expanding your network. And then 20 hours a week should be spent in learning. That's 60 hours a week. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant. So how much of that 60 hours a week could be with if you're a guy, could be with your wife and your children? Probably.
Maybe 40.
Yeah. And it's not the making money. I mean, at some point you could do that. I mean, when you're learning, you could be making money. And when you're networking, you could be making money, but not really. It's making money. It's actually doing the work. So a lot of times what people do is they spend 100% of their time, they spend 40 hours a week earning money and they have no energy to go out and network and connect with new people, expand your world. They don't have time. They don't have any energy or time. They don't have any energy at the end of 40 hours because they're working for somebody else and they're exhausted. So they have no opportunity to go out and leverage. Now, if you don't own your own company or you're not in sales, the other two are probably not going to make you money. If you're in sales or own your own company, the other two are going to go ahead and make you money. If you're intentional about it. If you're not, then it probably won't. Anybody else have anything else? All right. This is awesome. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work.